Hey guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Faith Over Fear podcast. We have an interesting topic today. We're going to be talking about friendships and how important it is who we surround ourselves with. So I want to ask you, what is a good friend to you? Like what are the qualities of a good friend to you?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say someone that
Starts describing me.
I'm just kidding. Krista. Why me? You.
No,
Well, technically, I would say someone that I can enjoy the goodness of God with. You know what I mean? Someone that we can talk about God, we can talk about his goodness, and that we can, just have a good conversation, have conversation flowing apart from, having that similarity of having a walk with God. I would say someone that you just feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone that isn't judging anything that you're telling them, someone that you can just be honest with. And I guess you can say, like, I love to laugh. Like, I feel like a friendship would be like being able to, laugh and have good conversations with. And, but I would say, yeah, like the most important thing would be someone that I can trust and someone that like is guided by God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even though God is our primary friend and someone that we can, tell literally everything with friends, you have to discern who you can say that to and who you cannot tell certain things with. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, I don't know, like I don't consider myself someone that has like many friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did have someone that like, are you someone that like has like best friend? Like you're like, oh, this is my best friend, or you're more of like, how would you consider that?
I feel like before, yeah, like,
Yeah.
and I feel like I used to be like a person that had a lot of friends, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like now, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Valeria is my best friend.
I know it's like my mom is my best friend.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. But I would say with me, I like, how can I say it? Like, I'm someone that loves to be there for my friends as much as I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that I'm not perfect, and like, I would never say like, oh, I'm such a great friend. I would say I'm the best that I can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I would say
that's good, because I feel like sometimes like we're always evolving and growing, like maybe you're not the best friend in a situation, but like time goes by and you grow, and you can be better.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was good. Yeah. Back to you. But what is you? Like, what is something of the qualities that you're like, a good friend?
I feel like now I want someone that's going to help me, like encourage me, you know? I saw a video about friendships not that long ago, and she was saying like, we need to be very like cautious on who we're hanging out with, because there is a verse in the Bible that says bad company corrupts good character, and there's a lot of verses in the Bible, like also when the paralyzed man, like his friends literally took them to Jesus, him to Jesus, like those are the type of friends we need. People that are going to lift you when you can't lift yourself. People that are going to help you carry your cross when it gets too heavy, like. And I feel like sometimes, like, if we're not careful, like, they make the cross heavier,
Yeah.
If we're not careful, they're like, say that you're seeking God, but your best friend doesn't. Like, when things get difficult, when life is getting really serious, then the trials are really deep, like, is your friend going to encourage you to keep seeking God, or is it going to be like, let's just go party?
Right.
Yeah. Like, it's very, very important who we're choosing to be our friends, And I feel like for me, I really appreciate an honest person, because I feel like I try to be as honest as I can, and I feel like sometimes I come off rude, you know, but I'm going to tell you things how they are.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I would appreciate it if I had a friend, and I would tell my sister all the time, like, I want someone that's going to not be scared to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm asking you because I need the truth, not because I want you to be like, oh, like, you know, like
telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah, like I don't need that.
Yeah.
That's not what I want,
Yeah.
you know? And I feel like I'm that friend to people. Like, I try to be that friend that's honest, you know? And in the video it said, like, there's good advice and there's God advice.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because sometimes the good advice is not God advice. Like, I'm not going to be the friend that's going to encourage you to do something that's not right. Like, no, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be that person.
Yeah.
And you can hate me for it. But later on, you're going to realize, like, dang, she was right, you know? And that's what I want. Like, I just want someone that's going to be real with me, you know? And I feel like I like talking to you because I feel like you always steer me to God. And that's awesome, you know? Like, I'm very blessed. And I've told you before, like, I'm so grateful, you know? God definitely knew what he was doing. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good. I really liked how you said that either they will help you lift your cross or they would just make it even heavier, because sometimes we don't realize it. We try to hold on to something because either they've been friends for a very long time. But, you know, I feel like I do want to emphasize that sometimes friendships is seasonal.
Yeah.
And whenever you do start feeling that heaviness, maybe it's not saying like, oh, stop talking to that person, stop being a friend. Maybe it's just kind of like putting some healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I kind of want to steer the conversation where we had a workshop for the leaders in district, and they asked the question, do you feel that, you know, it's okay to be with someone that's not in the same walk as you and based on your relationship with God? You know what I mean? And so there was actually like people 50-50 are like, yeah, you should, because you get to help them out, you get to talk to them about God and all that. And some people, they were like, no, because, you know, you can be influenced, you know. And I feel both of them are very valid. But I feel like depending on your relationship with God is how you will navigate friendships.
Yes, that's,
you know what I mean?
Good. It's true, because I feel like when I first started coming back to church and building a relationship with God, he isolated me. Yeah. It just kind of happened. Like, I was really close with all of my friends, and then we just stopped talking. But it wasn't like, oh, we're not friends anymore. We just kind of stopped talking, you know? And it wasn't a big deal. Yeah. But in that moment, like, everyone was kind of doing their own thing, but God was building me. Yeah. And I was alone, you know, but I was reading, I was praying, God was building me, God was molding me, God was transforming me. And then there came a time where they came back, like randomly, you know? And when they came back, I was in a different space. So I was able to help, you know? Yeah. So I feel like it does depend, like, where you are spiritually, you know, because I had an isolation season and it was good. And now I was able to help my friend out, and because God molded me, so now I had the knowledge to help my friend out, you know. But if we would have stayed together, I wouldn't have grown. I wouldn't have been able to help her the way that I am now. Yeah. You know?
No, yeah, I like that. That's so true, because I feel like it's very important to not be like, oh, I don't want to be with you because you're not a Christian or whatever. Yeah. I feel like but you also have to discern where you are. Like, if this person just does so many things that maybe you struggled with and they're not helping the situation, you know, just asking God, like, you know, help me, because I don't want to lose this friendship, but at the same time, it's also not helping me. Like, God will make a certain situation for it to be a healthy, maybe, like I said, healthy, like, boundaries. Just because, like, I'm trying to, like, navigate, like, how it was, like, in my walk with friends, because just kind of like I mentioned, like, I was never like this person that had like many friends. Like, growing up, like in high school, I would only have like 2 friends, and like that's it. It's because, like I said, like, I'm such an introvert that I'm not the type of person that, like, oh, that dominates the conversation or that walks in and can just be like hi to everybody. Like, I'm more someone that just kind of like keeps to myself. And so But the thing is that like now I do have some really great friends that I get to help out. But at the same time, you also have to like make sure that like you're helping out without getting in the mud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jesus, he had friends that, you know, that were not biblically right. I guess you can say, or holy, but he was in the middle of it, but yet he was not doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you also have to kind of like discern, like, am I able to be with this person without letting myself get into what they're doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, and so that's why like we do encourage, you know, like there's a lot of, you know, great people that God can bring into your life, but I would say ask God for that, ask God for discernment, because just kind of like talking a little bit how, you know, Crystal said about our friendship, you know, I asked God, I was like, God, like, you know, reveal to me a new friend, reveal to me people that I can talk to, because there was moments where like I didn't have many Christian friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, how can I talk about what I love the most, which is God, with people that, you know, they're still trying to figure that out themselves, you know. And I love them so much. Like I love my friends and everything, every single person. And so you know, and then fast forward to like meeting Crystal, you know. So it's just kind of cool because it's a friendship with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we get to have this ministry together and everything just clicks so fast because of this ministry, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why like I encourage you, like ask God, like if you feel that you want a friend, you know, and that's very valid, you know, ask God about it, and he will be able to bring the right people into your life, because we do need that good company. We do need people that you can ask for prayer for, where they can hold you accountable, where they can you know, go to church with you, you know, go to Bible studies with you and all that, and then just kind of go from there. And then once you're like, you know, you yourself know that you're able to handle certain situations, then, you know, join your friend, you know, to be able to help them out, or whatever the case may be.
I feel like in my case, it was 5 of us. In high school, it was 5 of us. So I guess, I mean, it was kind of a lot, but not really. But I feel like we kind of would do our own thing. Like we didn't really care what anyone said, you know, we were just doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like to this day, I still talk to all of them. I'm still friends with all of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, God had me in isolation for a little bit at the beginning. And it was like I didn't talk to any of them, period. Like I didn't talk to any of them. But it wasn't like, oh, we're not friends anymore. Or, oh, something happened, you know? It was just like
everybody's living their life.
Yeah, we were just living our own lives. It was after high school, you know, and I feel like after high school people tend to kind of break up, you know, but we didn't. I'm not going to say we broke up because we didn't. But we were just not as together, you know? And I already explained, like, God was molding me and building me, you know? And through that process, it's important to make boundaries. Yeah. You know? Because through the process, like, something would happen. They're like, oh, we're doing this. And I'm like, oh, I don't do that. I'm not going. Right. You know? Yeah. But I was like a birthday or something. And I'm like, but let's go eat for your birthday. You know? Yeah. So, like, I made that clear from the beginning. So now they know not to invite me because I'm not going. That's you good. Know? Yeah. But I'm still friends with them. Yeah. I'm still friends with them and I still talk to them, and we're like, we don't hang out like we used to. Obviously, we're grown-ups now. We do different things, but we still get together and we hang out and it's fun, you know? And I like to think that I help them in a way, you know? I've seen changes in all of them, and it makes me happy, you know? And I mean, we're all good girls, you know. We've all, like, I feel like we all kind of had a good seed planted in us when we were little, you know. So it's cool, it's fun to hang out with them, and I get excited to see them because they're my friends, you know. But I also try to help because God literally saved me, and I know that he's gonna save us, and it's already moving forward, you know. I see the progress and it makes me happy, you know. But it's very important to be strong, because if you're gonna go in, I mean, luckily for me, like, everything's going good and we're moving into a healthier space, you know. But like, it wasn't like that at the beginning, you know. And I could have easily been like, oh, let's go do this, you know. I could have just gave up everything I had worked so hard to get to and just done, you know. But I was like, no, like, I'm not gonna do that. And it's hard. I feel like at the beginning, you're kind of like, well, are they going to judge me? What are they going to think? You know, but I've always been very real, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to do that. That's not what I do anymore. I didn't make them feel bad about it either. Like, do what you gotta do. But I was like, I still want to see you. Like, I'm still gonna, you know, like, let's go out to eat. And, you know, and that's how it was. And now, like, we're in different places. But I don't know, like, it's okay to still talk to people, but make your boundaries, you know, make your boundaries. And if you're barely starting, like, it's okay to separate for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I wouldn't have had my isolation season, I wouldn't have grown in a way. Like, even in the beginning of before my isolation season, I was really close to one of my friends. And I feel comfortable talking about it because she comes to church with me now. So, you know, I feel comfortable talking about it. But in the beginning, like, we were both seeking God. But I feel like I was really serious and she was still trying to figure it out. And we were gonna go to Bible study once, and she was like, let's go get a vape. And I was like, okay, you know. And we went, and I feel like I hit the vape because she hit the vape, you know. But you see what I mean? Like, and then after that, shortly after that, God isolated me from everyone. It wasn't like, oh, we're not friends anymore. It was just, I don't know, it was kind of weird, but we just kind of broke up for a little bit. And then God opened a door for us to you know?
Yeah.
But then when she was ready to be serious, like, I had the knowledge, and, you know, and now she's baptized in Jesus' name, and she comes to church with me, you know? Like, God knew what he was doing, you know? But if I would have just stayed there, like, in the moment, like, who knows if I would have grown? Who knows what would have happened, you know?
No, that's true. Wow, that's praise God. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome. I would say, like, for me, I also went through that moment of, like, isolation, you know, just like I mentioned. There was just moment where, like, well, because, like, for me, I was very dependent, and seeing how, like, my friend, you know, because I was brought into the church by a friend, you know what I mean? So I praise God for it, and I will always have that gratefulness towards her and, like, her family and all that, because that was the greatest gift a friend can give me, was being able to introduce me to God, you know. And so yeah, just like I mentioned, I have very few friends because I had my one friend and whatnot. But then there was just a time where, like, I made God my best friend, you know what I mean? Like, I put him in that position of, like, you show me how to move, you show me how to grow in my faith, you know. And I feel like that's whenever God just kind of, like, gave me that isolation moment as well, so we can figure out what's our relationship, you know what I mean? And so I can be able to navigate my other friends, you know, so I can be able to navigate and how to help others, because I needed help myself first, you know what I mean? Because I was so dependent on seeing how others did it, and that's what kind of, like, held me back until finally it was just me, and not having those people around me. That's whenever I was able to be like, oh, okay, it's just you and me, God, you know what I mean? And so, you know, along the way, I was able to develop friendship with, you know, my youth at the church. And then, but with them, it's kind of like it passes friendship. It's more just like sisterhood, because they're, like, my church family, you know. But then, like, slowly but surely, like, God opened doors to being able to have friends, you know, in our district, you know. And now it's cool that, you know, you have friends in Fort Worth, that you have friends, you know, in Decatur, in different cities, you know. But there's, like, my circle is just, like, very small, you know what I mean? Because, like, I'm someone that I'm grateful, because, like, my friends are also kind of like mentors, you know what I mean? Like, they help me out with my walk, and that's what I need. I feel like in my life, like, I love having that mentorship, but I also love being able to, like, help out as much as I can, you know. But I don't know, like, I feel like I don't know, like, I think it's just kind of like I guess you can say, like, I don't know, for some reason, how can I explain it? Like, it's not that I don't, like, I feel like there was a time, because you know how they say that, like, friendship breakups hurt more than, like, a relationship breakup. So there was a time that I was feeling very, like, insecure about myself, where I thought that I wasn't good enough for people. I don't know why I want to tear up, but, like, because I felt like I lost a friend. I thought that I was the one that wasn't good enough. I thought that I was the one that was just boring, that, and so that I feel like that kind of influenced in my, friendships that I had, where I felt like, oh, I'm not even good enough to like be friends with this person, whatnot. So I was trying to be more than what I was at one point. But then like I stopped myself, and God was like, no, it's because you have to understand that friends are seasonal, and most of the time you're not the problem. You know what I mean? Most of the time it's not you. And so you have to understand that, like, people, they grow apart, and like, I'm here. And that's what I love about God. He was like, I'm here for you. And so like I feel very blessed that I get to say like God is my best friend, is the one that I go to. And then I'm blessed to have, just like I said, like the friends that I have now, because they help me, they mentor me. And so, and we were just kind of talking about that a little bit earlier today, how like you for example, is someone that just tells it me how it is, because you were guided by God. You know what I mean? And that's something that I need. It's something that I need from friends, that because like, just like you said, I don't want things to be sugar coated, but I love how my friends are so like non-judgmental. They're so compassionate. They make me feel valued. You know what I mean? They make me feel like, they make me see the love of God. And I feel like that's what a friendship should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like I like talking to you, because I feel like, well, in this walk, like there's so many levels, and I feel like that's where equally yoked friendships come in, I feel like there's times where I'm talking to people and there's limited things on what I can say, because the Holy Spirit, like the previous episode, like the Holy Spirit just like, don't say anything, it's like, keep your mouth shut. But I feel like I'm grateful that I have you, because I can talk to you about anything, like literally anything. And I feel like you're not gonna judge me, you're not gonna go repeat it, you're just gonna, you literally always just lead me back to God. And it's just so amazing, and I feel like you came, I didn't even know I needed you, you just kind of showed up, and I was like, wow.
You're gonna make me cry. And that's just the power of God. You know what I mean? It's so like I said, like I love our conversations, because you do the same thing. You lead me to God. You like how can I say, you like, I tell this to people, like literally Crystal's being used by God, and it feels so good that I get to call her my friend. Bro. You know what I mean?
Please stop it right now.
So I don't know. So that's why, like, we wanted to talk about this, because we've seen what it does for us to have people that guide us to God, and we want you guys to have that for yourself. Like, I know that there's someone out there that can help you out. I know that there's people that can pray for you. Like, having a friend that can pray for you, that's a friend that's doing the most for you. Literally. You know what I mean? Because they're intercessing for you.
And I feel like I love it when I tell you something and you're like, I'm gonna pray about it. I'm like, wow. Like, I don't even expect that reply, and you're like, I'm gonna pray about it, and I'm like, wow. But I wanted to say, like, the people you surround yourself is so important, and I feel like we need to surround ourselves with people that don't bring out the survival in us, because I feel like there's people that bring out the survival in you. Like, you can't even be yourself because you feel like you have to have a guard up, and I feel like it's easy to get caught into all of that, and sometimes it's okay to take a step back. Like, God isolates you, and I feel like I'm going through a process like that recently, and I'm grateful. I'm really grateful, and it hurts. I feel like it hurts to let go of some people or distance yourself from some people, but it's necessary. It's necessary for growth, and I'm grateful that God like has helped me grow in so many areas, and I mean, I feel like it's okay to distance yourself from people, but like still be there,
Yes, I like that. Like, do wellness checks.
Yeah, that was good. I feel like, I mean, like you said, some people are seasonal, and sometimes you're really close to some people and sometimes you're not, and that's okay. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong, we're all in this together, I guess. And I remember really like good is when we went to convention in 2022, convention of 2022, we met Sister Rebecca Montenegro, Sister Becky. We met her and she told us, she was like, sometimes like, she didn't, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said that like you have to branch out for your friends. Like they're not, sometimes they're not gonna be in your local church, you know, you have to go out there and find them. That's what she said, you know. And I feel like that was really good. And I remember, you know, and it's crazy because then I meet you and you're literally in Dallas, you know. But it's crazy because I feel like sometimes even I guess Jesus, when he was in Nazareth, you know, he couldn't perform many miracles there because it was the people he was with. They're like, oh, he's just a carpenter, you know. You know? And I feel like sometimes it's hard to grow
in your like in your environment. I guess you can say. I actually agree with that too, because like how can I say it? Like, for example, I feel like there's just no coincidence how you just said that about branching out, and I just mentioned of like, oh, I have friends here in Fort Worth, I hear friends in Decatur, in Dallas, and Irving, and so because I feel like at first I'll be like, why can't we just all be like together? But it's good that we're kind of like separated, and then we come together because we're separated for a reason. Like, you know, you have to help here, and then I have to help there, and so it's like it covers more ground. So I feel like I like that because it's kind of like Jesus and his disciples, you know, they were not all together at the time. They had to like branch out and go to different cities when they were paired up, you know. So I feel like it's just kind of like for a purpose, you know what I mean, for a purpose.
And I feel like overall we're all a family, you know, we're all a family, and we're all working together for the same purpose, you know. But I feel like it's good to have good friendships that are going to encourage you and help you keep going, you know, that aren't so close, you know, like someone from an not outsider's perspective, but kind of, you know, like I can come to you and you can fill me up, you know, so I can be okay. Does that make sense?
That's true, because you do have to, like, for example, if I tell you a certain situation, you can see it from an outside perspective instead of you being in the situation. You know what I mean? Okay.
And I feel like sometimes you can be too close to someone and it's not even healthy anymore. You know? Like you become so close that like you don't even have time to breathe. You know, because you're always with like
this person.
With people, and it's just too much. You know? And I feel like with God, when you're walking with God, he not requires, but there's like, you need to give him time, you know. But I feel like if you're so caught up on hanging out with your friends 24/7, like it's too late. I didn't read today. Oh, but I was with my Christian friends, you know. But it's like
you'll be with your
friend. No, but yeah, like I feel like it is good that we're not together 24/7, you know, even though I feel like sometimes we wish we were. But it's good. And I feel like even then, like, we have stuff to talk about because we're not with each other all the time, you know?
No, that's true. Yeah, because I think we see each other like mainly whenever we film and whatnot, or whenever there is like a district event. But it is true, because I feel like it is cool because it's like, oh, I haven't seen you, you know? But so that was a good point.
Overall, I feel like it's important to have good friends, you know? Like the paralyzed guy, like, he literally got healed because of his friends, you know? And we need people that are going to pour into us and that are going to help us, you know? Because it's really hard. This walk is really, really hard. And if you have the wrong people with you by your side, like, you're not going to make it, you know? Like, it's just going to be harder. So it's important to look for people that are going to pour into you and help you, you know. And sometimes you're not going to find that in your local church, you know. Sometimes you're going to have to branch out, you know, and that's okay. Like, it's not wrong, you know. And that's why I was remembering what Sister Becky said, like, that's coming from someone who, you know, like, has been through it, you know. And she's like, sometimes you have to go out there and find them. She's like, don't be scared to do that. And I feel like now that I know Aylin, like, it's literally like happening, you know, like, it just kind of happened. God just kind of did it, you know. But I feel like I'm experiencing what a friendship is like outside of my church, and it's really good. And I'm glad that I'm able to, I'm blessed with a friend like you know. But if you're struggling like to find friends, you know, pray about it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that's what you did,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I remember you told me that you prayed for a friend, and then I just came out of nowhere. Like, God will like provide the right people at the right time, you know. And like, if it's not looking like it right now, like, keep praying and don't give up, you know. God has your friends for you, you know, and at the right time he's gonna bring them into your life, and things are gonna change, you know. Kind of like us, like, we have a whole podcast now, you know, like, that's so cool. But like, it took a process to get to that too, you know. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that God like opened this door, you know, and he can do it for you too. And if you're struggling in a sense of like, you don't want to let go of your friends, but you want to seek God like 100%, you know, don't be scared to distance yourself a little bit, you know. God has a beautiful way of circling things around, you know. And I feel like when I was going through my isolation season, it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm not going to talk to y'all anymore. It just kind of happened, you know. So just pray about it. Pray over your friendships, you know, and don't be afraid to lose people. Like you said, some friends are seasonal, you know. And sometimes maybe the friends that you thought were going to be there forever are only for a season, and that's okay, you know. And it doesn't have to end ugly. Like, people grow apart all the time, you know, and it's okay. It doesn't mean something bad happened, you know. And sometimes friends are there for a season to help in the season, you know. Like, you can pour into someone and they can pour into you, but then like, we grow apart, and that's okay, you know.
No, that's true. That was a good perspective. And you know, like, I feel like just having that discernment and knowing what, you know, who you can talk to, and you know, just always making sure, because I always like to like make it clear, like, oh, you know, like, God is the person that will never fail you. You know what I mean? God will be the person that will be your ultimate best friend, and that is there for you. And so that's why, like, I always like to say, like, I will do the best that I can, because I'm still human. I will still make mistakes, you know. So that's why, like, it's good, I feel like, to know that your dependency is in God, and then other people is just there to, like, for us to kind of like walk this walk together.
And that's really good, because I feel like sometimes in friendships we lose sight of God because we're really consumed in a friendship, you know. But God is the primary friend, and that's really good, because like, overall, like we said, friendships come and go, you know, but God's always gonna be there, you know. And we can't depend on a friend. We cannot depend on a friend. Like, they're good and they'll help you and they'll push you and encourage you, but God is the ultimate friend, you know. And he's the one that's gonna like bring people and take people, and you know, and it's okay. Like, it's important to just keep our eyes on him, you know, and he will provide the right people at the right time.
Oh yeah. Because I remember that for me, the way that I guess you can say, like, I opened up to like more friends as well was that I went to camp by myself with like none of my youth, no friend, like nothing. And because a good friend, she was a mentor to me, she told me, she was like, no, like, just go for it, like, don't let that hold you back. Because I just felt it. I was like, I really want to go, but like, it's not common for you to go by yourself, you know. It's always like in a group with your friends, or your youth group. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I don't know, like, I just felt like God had something for me, and he surely did. He had something powerful for me that camp. And that's whenever I but I was scared. Like, I literally had my mom on the phone like the whole drive there, and when I got there I was like, Mom, I don't want to get off, because like I said, like, I'm shy. So I was like, I don't want to get off. And so luckily in my room where I stayed, there were sisters, and they just like welcomed me in. They were like, you know, at first it was a little awkward, but then we were like, let's just all go to lunch together. And that's whenever like we expanded, and then like we tagged along, you know, with the twins. That's whenever I met them for the first time. And then like my very good friend Ruby and her sister Paola, that I was able to like form that friendship with it. But it was so cool because everything just happened so like natural. Like, everybody was just like talking, and like, you know, at the end of it, I was like, wow, like, imagine if I wouldn't had gone. So that's why, like, it's good to like be a little bold, You know what I mean? Like, do what scares you, you know, because then it won't be scary anymore. And then you don't know, like,
that was good.
And then also, like, imagine if I would have hold back of like, no, it's because I'm going by myself. I would have missed the opportunity of being blessed by God, and then missed the opportunity to make those friendships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, yeah, you know, like, it just kind of like with our friendship, you know, I'm someone that it's rare if I message someone. Like, it's really rare. So that's why.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like everything was just like.
Just aligning. Yeah, like, it was so funny, because like I said, I was like, I feel like what I loved the most in that season was just kind of like, I just really wanted to hear like people's testimonies. Like, as I was, you know, gaining like more friends in the church, I was starting to see like, oh wow, like, we're all going through it. Like, it's not like you see someone, you feel like they're grass is green.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then, like, I messaged Crystal, and Crystal was like, oh no, like, I literally just got back. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a year that you just got back. So it was just kind of like, oh wow, like, it looks like you had everything like all put together.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, but obviously, like, you know, we got to hang out and all that, and then God made this happen with our ministry, with the podcast. So that's why, like, if God can do it for us, God can do it for you. And but just seek him, talk to him, you know, let him know how you feel, and then he's going to provide those friends naturally. Because I feel like all of the friends that I've gained have been so like organic, have been somewhat people that I can just be myself with, you know what I mean, where I feel like I don't need to be the certain person. And also I feel like there's moments where, like, even because, like, since we go to district, and these are people, some people you just been seeing your whole life. Like, I remember with my friend Bonnie, like, I've been knowing her for like years, like since I was like a teenager, and like barely now last year is whenever we got close. So that's also another thing where it's just kind of like God knows the right timing. You know what I mean? So it's like she had to be friends with other people, had to be friends with other people at that time, and then like barely now God like brought us together, and we've been able to help each other out. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, it's also like another example of seasonal friends. I'm not saying like, oh, next day we won't be friends, but what I'm saying, it's like there's a moment of like being close, and then there's a moment of needing to be in different times, in different like moments, in different environments. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there's gonna be moments where like we're gonna be in our own personal life, I'm gonna be in a different season. You know what I mean?
And I feel like it's okay. You know, I feel like sometimes it looks bad, or people are like, oh, well, what happened? You know, but I feel like it's not a big deal.
It's
like,
not a big deal. And I think we were kind of talking about this, how like even Jesus had to kind of like isolate himself, had to like get away from his disciples so he can to pray and connect with his Father. You know what I mean? And so that's also like giving us a good example where it's like our primary source is God, and the friends is kind of like secondary. You know?
And I was gonna say, I like how you said that you went to camp by yourself. I feel like a lot of the times, like, you got to experience it by yourself, but I feel like a lot of the times, even just us like coming in, like, I feel like I'm always surrounded by people. You know, I have my sister and my cousins, you know, we're just always together. So I feel like when we show up to things, we're together, you know. But I feel like because we're together, we don't meet other people, you know, because we're together. And I feel like in stuff like that, it's important to like branch out, you know, and not be shy, you know, because I feel like maybe one thing you say can like push someone else to like, you know, engage in it. And then that's a friendship that you never knew you would ever have, you know. But if you're so busy with like the people that you always hang out with, then it's like you don't really meet anybody. You know?
Because I would be the type of person that would just go in and out and just be with my people, and that's it. And then that was my very first time that I experienced going to a district event. And then like I would continue on going by myself. Like I've been hearing your events by myself, you know. And so it has helped me to like, you know, have no other choice but to branch out. But it's funny because like there's still moments where I have to go by myself for certain situations, right? And I still get nervous. Like I still get nervous because even though like I know that my friends are there, it's still like a little like, I feel like this is kind of like our human side. You still get a little bit nervous of like, I'm here by myself. You know what I mean? You feel more comfortable.
It's all in your head though. Like I remember when I was younger and I was coming to church and stuff, I would meet so many people because I was very spontaneous and I would just talk to people, you know? And I remember that when I started coming back, I was like, it's harder to meet people. I would say it. And I remember Eunice was like, no, like not for me. And I was like, oh, dang, you know? And now, like now that I've been in the church for longer, like I feel like God has given me a freedom where it's like, it's okay. Like it's all in your head. Like just talk to people. Like it's not a big deal. And it's crazy because this last NYA, we were literally in line and Brianna, she was like, hey guys. And she started talking to a group of girls. And I was like, hey, you know, I was kind of with her talking to them. And it was like a group of girls from like, I think El Paso and other places, you know? And I was like, dang, like I used to do that all the time. Yeah. But I stopped because I left, you know? And then when I came back, I thought it was weird, but it's not weird. Yeah. It's all in your head,
it really
you know?
Is. Yeah. I feel like, like sometimes we are our own worst enemy. You know what I mean? Because like, like I'm someone where I'm just kind of like, maybe I shouldn't go. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I start overthinking. I start having anxiety and all that. But the reason why I do go is because I'm like, okay, well, even though like I won't see friends, I'm gonna go see God. Yeah. I feel like that's what helps me and pushes me because I'm like, I really like, for example, for camp, like I really, really want to go. That was my ultimate reason because I really wanted to receive, because that was my second camp. So my first camp was with my youth and my second camp was by myself. And so I'm just like, I loved how it was last year that I don't want to miss this year, even if it's just me. You know what I mean? And so like now I praise God and like I'm so happy about that, you know? So that's why like, because even like being able to go and experience it kind of like by yourself and then creating those new friendships, it also helped me out in the outside where like now I get to go to the movies by myself. I go out by myself, you know, because I feel like sometimes like I had that tendency where like, for example, my brother, whenever he was here in the US, he was my best friend and we did everything together, like every single thing. We would go like to places, everything would be me and him. And when he left, it was just kind of like I felt like I needed someone. Like I did not know how to be alone. You know what I mean? And so that's why like whenever I saw that I was able to do that with camp, I was like, oh, I can do that with my outside life, you know, like I don't need to have someone with me, because like even I feel like it's good to like know how to be by yourself as well, because that's whenever it comes, like you said, like we start grabbing that dependency on people. And so me being able to know how to navigate being by myself, it makes me like just hold on to God even more. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like I know that he's there.
Yeah. And I feel like going places by yourself, it's like you and God. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Because like in the car, you don't have someone to talk to. So you're talking to God, you know? Exactly. And God is on your mind while you're doing things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so much better, honestly. Yeah.
That's true, because whenever I drive, I always love to like sing along. And I'm shy. So like, I feel like if we were in the car, I don't think I would ever sing in front of you.
Really? Why?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if you put my
you better sing. I'm kidding. No.
Maybe. But like, it's just kind of like, yeah, like you said, you just have that personal connection with God when it's just like you and him.
I feel like I get the singing thing though, because I feel like I used to not sing, but I feel like now that I'm singing more often, I'm like singing. Like I'm a singer now. Yeah. I sing all the time. No, not really. But you know, like I'm not really shy. I feel like God gave me like a freedom in that way, I guess, now. Because I feel like at first I used to be shy and my voice used to not even be my real voice. But now when I'm singing, like I'm singing, you know, and I'm not scared. I don't know, but it just kind of happened, you know. I feel like maybe because I have like a ministry in that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I was going to say also, like when, I guess this is more for the people that are in the church. But when we go to like events and stuff, we're all in the same mindset. Like we all want to make friends, you know, we all, you know, so I feel like we shouldn't be scared. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Like, for example, like anybody can talk to us.
Right. And I feel like if somebody comes up to me and talks to me, like I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to talk back, you know? So it's the same thing with us. Like if we go up to someone and talk, it's not like they're going to be like, what are you doing? You know, like they're just.
Yeah, like I feel like
I'm thinking of like NYA because of like when I met those girls, like, you know?
No, I get it. Because like it's funny because like, for example, with some of my friends that I made now, like at first I'm like, like you just feel like you would never have that connection. I talked to him like, oh, you're a whole different person. You know what I mean? But you just never know if you don't put yourself out there and just like talk. You know what I mean? But there was some.
That's funny because I feel like Ashley from Grandparent, she's so funny. But she was like, yeah, when I first saw you, she's like, I didn't think that you were like, you know who you are. And I was like, oh. But like camp kind of brought us together, you know, and she got to meet me and she's like, wow, like she's a completely different person than who she had in her mind. I don't know what I'm kidding. No, but yeah.
And that's funny. I feel like camp opens up like a lot of doors because like you're kind of forced to it. You have to
hang out with the people in your cabin.
Yeah.
No, but it's good. It's really good. I love it. I feel like the first year coming back, I met the girls from Grand Prairie and I love them. They're like my favorite, you know? But then this year I met some girls from Fort Worth and they were really cool too, you know? And I love that like it opens a door to meet other people, you know? And I feel like if you're so caught up in your group, I guess in my case, like you don't really meet these people. Because I feel like the girls that, sorry, I'm rambling. I feel like the girls I met this year, like I only met them because it was kind of late and we just kind of started talking, you know, but my group was kind of asleep.
Oh, okay.
So I was just talking to them, you know, but I feel like if I wouldn't have gone through that, like I wouldn't even have met them. We were just kind of, you know how it's kind of weird at first? Yeah. But it's good. It's good to like not be scared and just talk to people because you never know who you could help and you never know who could help you.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's true. Because I love hearing people's testimonies. Like I love seeing how they got to where they are now. You know what I mean? I think that's just like really interested. And then like also for you guys, like you guys have the freedom to message us, to contact us. You can follow us in our social media. Like we're open to making new friends, even if it's online as well. So like if there's just like anything you guys would like to ask or talk about, or if you have prayer requests, you know, we're here to also like pray for you guys, you know, the viewers that are watching this, because we're now all a family. You know what I mean? So we're all friends here. There's no judgment. It's just us, you know, just two girls that, you know, love God and want to like spread his word and spread his goodness. And that also involves, you know, two girls wanting to pray for you. You know what I mean? So like if there's anything else, don't be shy. Like now, you know, don't be shy and just, you know, contact us and we can build a community.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like even then, like, we could, like, go get coffee or something.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. We can have also, like, virtual, like, Bible studies, you know, just kind of get together for those that maybe live in another state or something.
Wow.
But if you live in Decatur or Dallas area, hey, like, we can go out for coffee.
We're coffee. I mean, I'm a coffee girl.
I'm somewhat of a coffee girl.
She's funny. The first time she's like, we can go get coffee. And then when we went, she's like, I'm not really a coffee girl.
I feel like because it's like the most typical
but
thing,
it's crazy because I was like, you had me at coffee.
I should have said like ice cream or something.
I would have like, no. I'm just kidding.
You're like, no, that's a deal breaker.
No, yeah, but I hope this video helped in any way. I know it can be hard to like find good friends or let go of friends that or you feel like aren't helping you in your walk. You know, it can be difficult, but I hope that we were able to help in any way. And remember that God is the ultimate friend and he can help you, and just be raw and honest about your situation with your friends with him. You know, he wants to place people in your life that are gonna help you and encourage you. You know, he doesn't want you to be alone. And sometimes isolation seasons are good. So if you're going through an isolation season, it's going to be okay. And God is going to bring people into your life. You know, it's good to go through those seasons. Just keep your eyes on him, you know, because I feel like once you're alone, you can kind of get overwhelmed with your emotions, you know, but just know that it's temporary and God has so much more, you know. So I hope this video was helpful. And with that being said, I hope that you guys liked it. Like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, and follow us on our social media. We have Instagram and TikTok, and also Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and we're on YouTube as well. So I hope you liked this video. With that being said, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye guys.